who do I feel like being today? I feel, if we're going to talk about my emotions, I feel like being Nick Shell, the living legend of hair loss. And I feel, again, my emotions, I feel like reading this comment on a video I made called Getting Married Before You Go Bald, but what happens after you go bald? And this is a comment that I received from Tyler Durden, who's been watching my videos for a while. Left this comment. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you up front. By the end of this video, you get to decide which camp you're in. Are you with Tyler? Are you with Nick? You get to decide. But you're gonna be probably on one camp or the other. There probably won't be much in between, is what I'm gonna predict. So you get to decide which group, which camp are you with. Here's what Tyler says, quote, "Your point of view is way off, but then again, you're married. The reality is quite different. Women seeking to settle down are different from women who are still on the carousel, hopping from one dude to another. The former seeks a beta provider who will do as she wishes. The latter seeks the good-looking Chad. But we all have our own opinions." To which I responded with the classic Nick Shell trademark phrase, and I said, like I always say, anything you believe about hair loss is true, ... in your own mind. And that's the whole thing. Tyler, what he believes, what he just said, that's real to him. That's his reality. This whole concept of fact versus truth, well, that's his truth. And now we're going to talk about my truth. And you get to decide at the end of the video, what is your truth? So I'm looking at this, and ultimately, here's what I'm thinking. This only shows that I can never relate to this whole carousel idea. Because I think what happens is, especially in the comment section who's regularly watching my videos, I feel demographically, there's a lot of guys, and I've made a video about this, and I've called everybody out on it, and no one argued with me, and no one disagreed with this, that ultimately, we're asking these questions, am I gonna go bald? What you're really asking is, am I gonna be able to have sex before I go bald? That's really what you're asking, because you equate being bald young with not having sex. And specifically, you're relating it to this whole one night stand hopping from one girl to another, or you believe that if you do get married and then you go bald, she's gonna cheat on you and ultimately you're gonna get divorced because she can't stay married to a balding man. It's a very toxic way of thinking, and it's totally against my lifestyle, this whole carousel thing. That's not what I can relate to. So what I would say is there anybody watching my videos who has any interest in not riding the carousel? Like not making this whole thing so sexual and, you know, like thinking, how about I like being more marriage minded as far as like not playing the field. I feel like that's a player's response, what I just read. And I'm not here to judge anybody for that, but it feels more like a player's response. Whereas this guy's not a player. But my life is great, and I'm happy about all the decisions I made, but I chose from the very beginning never to be a player. In the same way I chose from the very beginning never to engage in pornography. I've always been completely against that because I think it rewires your brain and ultimately destroys your thinking for your life ahead of you. In the same way that this whole playing the field, riding the carousel concept is simply just not smart. The way I view it, that's my truth. Because ultimately, and let's take religion out of this, okay? But ultimately, you're playing the field, good luck without becoming a father before you're ready for it. Because things can still happen. And then what happens? You're 21, now you got someone pregnant, now are you gonna have to get married? Is there gonna be any talk about what to do with the baby? You know, I don't want things to get too dark on this channel, but all this stuff. And then ultimately, you're now responsible for your human life. And is that child going to end up growing up in poverty? If you become a young parent or call someone else to become a young parent, that's your child. Because what happens is often when you have young parenting situations like that, it tends not to start you all on the right foot for adulthood. So this whole concept, not to mention the STDs and all of that. So for me, I've always been against the carousel. and I've been against that mindset. And I just feel, and I do wonder, like, how many guys ultimately are watching my channel just because they're wanting to play the field and they think it's going to hurt their chances of getting with women. So that's where I'm coming from. That's probably the unpopular belief, but that's my actual life. That's how I've lived my life. That's still what I believe. So I guess for my closing thought is just that I think there's a lot of anxiety for younger guys because they're wanting to sleep with as many women as they can before they go bald. But the irony of it is, as I say in 2/3 of my videos, what I already have learned in my life about what attracts females, and that it's not all based on looks and hair like everyone in this, so many people in this channel make it seem to be. And it's funny too how the beta male, it continues in the comment section to be portrayed as a negative thing. When I would argue beta is the way you want to go as long as you're emotionally intelligent. You're still in control of the situation, but without less of the risk and without coming across as, let me censor myself, a jerk. And I think that I make more videos about it, but people don't watch them. When I talk about the whole alpha and beta male, they're engaging, but most people don't watch them. Most people are only going to watch a video if I put receding hairline in the title. But I really feel that if we could explore this even more, and I guess I just need to start talking about more in videos but not put in the title, I think demographically a lot of people that watch my channel have a preconceived notion about what it means to be a beta male versus an alpha male. And I'm still struggling to think of examples of emotionally intelligent alpha males. I mentioned Robert Downey Jr. as well as the character he plays, Iron Man, and I did think of a new one. The guy that he's the motivational speaker, and Tony Robbins. I would say he's absolutely a very emotionally intelligent alpha male. But typically, people who are those take charge macho personalities that are apparently so superficially attracted to probably superficial women to begin with, in my opinion, they're probably not that emotionally intelligent. And they're gonna peak in their early 20s. And they've still got the rest of their life, which goes back to this concept of, if you're in that mindset of riding the carousel and being a player and all that, what happens though when you're 27 and then you're trying to get with 20-year-olds? Okay. What happens when you're in your 30s and you're trying to get with, you're going to get older, and at some point it's not going to be cool. It's going to be like in The Wedding Singer. That's one of my favorite movies. And Sammy, Adam Sandler's best friend in the movie, he at the end of the movie, he's at a bar and he says, I don't want to be 50-year-old trying to pick up chicks like the Fonz. So it's like, even if you think best case scenario, I'm going to play the field, I'm going to ride the carousel for my 20s, my teens, my 20s, this is what I'm going to do. And that's assuming you're not going to get anyone pregnant or get an STD or something like that. Assuming all that works out, you're eventually going to be whatever age you think it is to stop playing the field and living that way. You'll eventually be, what's the number going to be? Age 30, 35, my age, 37. At some point that changes and you're not going to be this living legend of George Clooney before he finally got married. You won't be that anymore. And what, so then you suddenly become a beta male and, okay, well, now I'm going to switch over. I'm going to be like Nick Shell because he's such a beta. But the problem is, once you eventually do get in a serious relationship and are married, this whole alpha shtick thing, it's not going to work anymore, because you're going to have to be collaborative. You're going to have to be good at communicating. You're going to have to be good at compromising. So what happens then? Do you have to, at that point, shift gears and think, okay, well, now I'm 40 years old. I guess I'll finally get married. But what about this macho alpha male personality that we're clinging on to? I think it's just one of those things where ultimately you have to decide which camp you're in. I'm still waiting for more examples of emotionally intelligent alpha males, but I really think that beta males have the advantage in life in 2019. I think we can get further in business. I think we can be more successful in relationships, in communication, and all the things that make us relevant and attractive as men. I think beta, emotionally intelligent beta, is the way to go, because by default, alpha males, true alpha males, typically are not emotionally intelligent, and they're focused more on short term, and they're focused on themselves more than the whole picture. So I guess you could say I'm definitely, when I think of alpha male, it's such a negative concept. I can be challenged though. I can be challenged, but so far no one's really challenged me on this. Comments belong right here.